Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for Surfing X Tech. Welcome back, welcome for, welcome to another episode of Caffeine Crypto, where I welcome you to join me with your favorite caffeinated beverage choice as we go over this week's crypto news. As we can see, Bitcoin is only around 90K. We actually went up this week, but then we fell back down. I'm gonna go over some crypto news in this week's article. Some alerts, some warnings, some things we're seeing with what is it called? MicroStrategy. Got some Anthony Pomp in here. All kinds of different stuff. We're just gonna talk about some various articles, and the state of crypto. Right. Of course, Kevin O'Leary brings some concern, fear, and greed. Falls a little bit more than what it was. I mean, we've been really in the 20s or below the 25s for like the longest time. So it's still the same thing that I've been saying for weeks. Just chill out. And really cool, some of these OG Bitcoin coins, right, where they printed private keys on these coins. Some of them are coming back to life or not dormant anymore. Mike Cadwell basically printed out some coins that had like a holographic sticker on it that if you peeled it, you know it was tampered with, and you could claim some of those coins. And seems we had a few already claimed, but we might have some more claimed again. Where'd my vape go? I'm losing my mind here. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, so Bitcoin sitting around 90K. Earlier this week, we climbed all the way up to 94K, and now we're pulling back a little bit. Not too crazy, but a little bit. Still, technically, if we look at coin market cap, you know, on the 7-day, we have a higher high and a higher low, but kind of feels like we're in for some pain here in a minute. A little bit more of a pullback, especially, you know, if we stay around these levels come February, March. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit pullback as we lead into the tax season, and then have a nice run up after the tax season, you know, concludes and people start getting their returns and stuff like that. So we'll see how things go. But you can see on the daily from around November 22nd, right, where we fell all the way down to 80K, all the way up until the most recent like short-term high of 94K. We pulled back, I say about 2-3%. Let's see here. Let's measure this real quick. So all the way down to the bottom was 6%. Where we're at right now, it's actually 4.78%. So nothing to be too concerned about. You can see that we're actually above some of the EMA ribbons, at least one of them. But we're going to have some major resistance as you start to climb up. You can see here like 96, 97 is going to be a major resistance. But we got to go reclaim 92. Because right now, 92 or the bottom of 93 is like not letting us pass, like Gandalf Gray. Or Doug Gray, or however you say it. So we'll see how things turn out. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP fell today, pulling the wider crypto market down with them. Bitcoin slid around 90K after recently coming close to 100K. Ethereum moved towards 3,090. XRP dropped to $2.06. BNB slipped to around 888, and Solana dropped up to 135 after several days of weakness. Tron traded near 28 cents, and Dogecoin fell to roughly 14 cents. Cardano edged to 43 cents, and Bitcoin Cash, which I did see go on a run, dipped to about 574. The sudden pullback surprised the market after watching strong price gains over the past week. Rate cut hopes have faded, though. Let's go look at what is it, FedWatch? Let's see what they're saying here for the rate cut percentage, which is in 4 days. So that's something I'm keeping my eye on. I mean, still a high chance to get a rate cut, but it has faded from, I think, 90%, 92%, something like that. Invested Kevin O'Leary, who said he does not believe the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut interest rates next month. He explained the inflation is still high, new tariffs are raising costs, and the Fed is worried about both rising prices and the job market, right? Because the Fed's got to take into account all those different things or metrics in order for them to make a accurate decision. So even though the Fed Watch is saying 86% chance for a rate cut in 4 days, Kevin O'Leary is warning that might not happen. Obviously caused some concern. A large institutional move worried investors. Another shock came with a big transfer linked to MicroStrategy, also a related company moved the equivalent of 1.47 million Bitcoin related shares worth about 273 million into custody at Fidelity. This kind of move has happened before major sell-offs in the past, including large Bitcoin drop last November. Because of its history, experts feared this could be a sign that the institutions might be ready to take profits again. And this is something that I've been talking about for a while. And I keep saying suits, right? The suits, the big sellers, the investors, the big boy, people that spend millions, if not hundreds of millions on assets. They keep moving funds around. Maybe some of them are doing tax loss harvesting. Maybe some of them are just reshuffling. Who knows? But I feel like while retail is ready for Bitcoin to go to the moon, the suits or the institutions are not ready yet, right? So they're pushing they're suppressing the price of Bitcoin so that way they can continue to accumulate more, which is why I've been saying for months, even though I don't provide financial advice on this damn channel, it's just knowledge, common senseness. I don't know, like just dollar cost average and accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible as usual. Global headlines also added pressure, including a new warning from China's central bank about virtual currencies. We also had some concerns about Japan last week. So the entire economy is kind of fragile right now. I mean, fragile to a certain sense, not like super fragile like 2008, and earlier, but definitely, the ebbs and flows of the market. Technical signal caution and not capitulation. So Bitcoin technicals show that there might be some not capitulation but caution that is being seen here. Over the past day, its price has oscillated with a narrow band between 88 and 91. So that's a good price range to kind of trade. So short and long Bitcoin to just accumulate more, suggesting hesitation both from the bulls and the bears, right? Both getting worn out. This isn't a stampede. It's more of a tense chess match at the 90K psychological level. The hourly chart gives us a polite shrug. Bitcoin recently attempted to reclaim momentum after being rejected at 92.6 thousand, only to stumble back to 88. Since then, the price has meandered sideways between 89.2 and 89.9 with all the enthusiasm of a sleepy Sunday afternoon. Yeah, people just don't have, either their appetite's gone or they just don't have the funds to participate in a way like they were saying. So we'll see here. But if it does slip below 88K, which remember we fell all the way down to 80, that was a concern, and we did a video 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where I said we needed to hold the 80K level. If we didn't, that would be bad news bears. We did hold, but we'll see how things go. I mean, look, the volume is shit. The volume is shit. Like it's barely, like if you zoom out, the volume over here on the right hand side is just non-existent. It would be nice to maybe not get back to these levels over here, because I don't think we'll be able to, because the price is different, obviously. But it would be nice to get some significant volume. I mean, there was barely anything on Saturday the 29th, right? Everybody was Black Friday shopping, Cyber Monday shopping, whatever it might be. On the 4-hour chart, and a rounded top had formed. Never a good hairstyle and rarely a good sign in price action. After rebounding from 83 to 94K, Bitcoin began a soft decline back to 88/90K zone. While that sounds calm, the structure whispers fatigue. A break above 91.5 with accompanying volume would mark a shift towards optimism, but another rejection near 93 or failure to hold above 88.5 could open the gates for another revisit to 82, 85, 84, somewhere in that area. The daily chart doesn't sugarcoat it. Bitcoin is still healing from a sharp downtrend that dropped it from 111 to a low of 80. A modest relief rally ensued, but the latest price action around 90K reflects a consolidation phase, not a triumphant return. Rejection at 95K, where the last upward push fizzled, has kept traders cautious. All right, everybody's trying to see what's going on. What are the bears going to do? What are the bulls going to do? And everybody's fatigued. They're just chilling. Now, because myself doesn't have money around to play in that market, right? whether it's leverage, not leverage, just being able to put significant amounts of money into crypto, because I can't do that. I'm assuming multiple people can, right? And the market just doesn't have any trades. It doesn't have any volumes. At least it has some trades and volumes. There's some automated trades going on. There's some bot trading going on. There's some AI trading going on. But I'm talking like significant volume from individuals, right? Whether it's retail, other institutions, other banks, other schools. Everybody's just like, all right, let's see. It could fall further. I'd rather not invest my 200K in right now. Let's see if it falls down to 80K, 82K as it's shown recently, and then we'll go in. Let's see, right? But right now, between 92 and 88, it's kind of like everybody's waiting and see. The bears are waiting to see, and the bulls are waiting and see. Oscillators are offering the emotional support for a lukewarm cup of coffee. The RSI clocks in at 43, indicating neutral momentum. This I can't say that word for some reason. Stochastic oscillator reads 65, also neutral. Everything's neutral. CCI, blah, blah, blah. ATX, all the indicators are neutral. We'll have to see what happens here. Moving averages, on the other hand, have taken a decidedly skeptical stance. Every single exponential moving average, or EMA, and simple moving average from 10 to 200 period, with the lone exception of the 20-day, registers a bearish alignment. Notably, the 200 period SMA stands far above the 109, pointing to how far Bitcoin has drifted below its long-term trajectory. The 10-day EMA and SMA hover around 90, above 90, suggesting short-term resistance isn't letting go without a fight, right? So to get back up to, like, if we need to get a breakout of 90 and get to that 88, that 92, 94, we got some serious resistance, as we just talked about previously. Anthony Pompliano's Bitcoin treasury firm ProCap BTC closed SPAC merger deal. Shares in the company fell more than 50% this week as the merger approval went forward. I think people, not just trading in crypto, but just trading in crypto assets, stocks, mining companies, whatever, I think they're just tired. I know we've seen a nice spike for some of the mining companies, but, you know, like Coinbase, this thing, whatever it's called, Circle, whatever the crypto companies are that are in the crypto space but trade on the traditional stock market, are just not seeing that love and that enthusiasm coming from the market. Dream Tanks TV says more pain incoming to the downside. Yep, I feel that. Talking about the overall market, because we're going to have the traditional market as well take a hit, and crypto to follow. Now, I would like for Bitcoin to go on its own trajectory and stop trading like a damn tech stock, but we'll have to wait and see if that ever comes into fruition. Special Purpose Acquisition, or SPAC, Columbia Circle Capital, Burr, and ProCap BTC, led by Anthony Pompliano, have raised more than $750 million to build a Bitcoin treasury firm, closed their merger late Friday. The combined company has been renamed ProCap Financial and will begin trading on the NASDAQ under Burr symbol on Monday. I already have it like flagged on, like, you know, Robinhood or Cash App or wherever you can get it, just to keep an eye on it. I might accumulate some shares, but nothing's too substantial. Again, using money after I pay my bills, not before I pay my bills. Not saying you should. I'm just saying that's what I'm doing. The performance of the hastily formed Bitcoin treasury, obviously it fell quite a bit, right? So after the merger, it fell 50%. So I'm just keeping my eye on it, thinking about when to get in and stuff like that, but we'll see. But the performance of the hastily formed Bitcoin treasury company this year has been disastrous, with most down 90% or more following their SPAC combinations, right? Kindly MD, Strive, the two name of the higher profile ones, each now trade for less than $1. Burr shares had traded in very tight range near their offering price of $10 for several months, then even closed at $10.15 on Friday, the 28th of November. Perhaps the investors held out hope that the merger would not be approved and Columbia Circle might look for another merger partner or return capital to shareholders. As the merger completion became evident this week, Burr plunged more than 50%, closing yesterday at $4.36. Maybe some people, maybe some of the shareholders were just like, nah, dude, I'm good. I don't like fucking with Pompliano. I'm out. Peace. I don't know. But again, this just screams exhaustion to me. right? Bears and bulls. Everybody's just like, what the heck is going on? Not really making too much money on the ebbs and flows of Bitcoin. You still can, especially if you're trading with leverage, but maybe they're just exhausted. And none of the altcoins are really tickling their fancy, right? A lot of the altcoins that we all hyped up around, whether it was Mu, Bonk, Shib, Doge, have not seen that recent uptick in volume and stuff like that. So we'll see how things pan out. I think everybody's just exhausted and money is tight and it's the holiday, so you gotta go buy Christmas gifts, you gotta go travel for your vacation. So everybody's holding their money back to go do what they need to do for their life, their bills and stuff like that, rather than spending it on meme coins. The crypto market panic grows as the fear index hits extreme lows and Bitcoin entering a bear market. Now this is the poll I'm gonna throw up on the live chat real quick. I know some of you guys don't watch this till later. But I'm going to throw this up right now. Same question. Is Bitcoin entering a bear market? I want you to let me know yes or no. I don't think we're going to add a third option. So poll is up right now. And let me go around the room real quick and say hello to everybody. So Rud, thank you for stopping by. Automatic Beats, Slothman, hope you guys are doing good. Sam Fisher, what's up? Crypto Pounder Dog. Is that the same Crypto Pounder? I think it is. I don't know. We'll see. Adam Williams, more money. I think you're talking about a token that I have no bearing on. Thoughts on Cardano, says Sam Fisher. Would it ever reach $1 again like it did earlier this year? We'll check that here in just a second. Checking on Cardano. Slothman says if BTC drops below cost, it'll drive more of the small miners out. Yes, it will. And remember, we just hit a Bitcoin block. Somebody just hit a Bitcoin block not too long ago. So again, as Bitcoin price falls and the hash rate and difficulty continue to rise, some people are going to have to turn off their operations, whether they're small, whether they're medium sized, whether they're a large company. They're going to look at their cost basis. They're going to look at their overhead. They're going to look at what their returns are. And if they don't have really good negotiated power and don't know how to manage their business because they didn't consult Bitsby Trippin, really good guy if you're in a business for setting up an actual facility 5 megawatt or above, and you just need some help, you need a consult. I would highly encourage you to check them out, Bitsby Trippin over in St. Louis. But they're going to shut down, and then that's going to give some of the smaller miners with 10 terahash or more a chance to hit a Bitcoin block. So keep your little nerd axes, your bit axes, all that stuff up and running. We'll see if you get lucky. It's just a chance, a very rare chance, but it's a chance nonetheless. Now let's go look at ADA to, let's see here. Let's go look at ADA to Tether on Binance. Actually, hang on one second. Who has the most volume on Cardano? Let's go look at the markets real quick. Yeah, Binance, so USDT. All right, so let's go back and check out ADA. Will it ever get back to $1 is what Sam is asking, I believe. Yep. So on the daily, right, as far as Binance and USDT, the high was basically $3, and that was back in 2021, right? The exuberance was crazy. I think there was a lot of people on Cash App buying. This is around the time with one of my brothers, I say brothers, but one of my friends that you guys all loved and watched passed away. And I remember the family talking about this during, after the viewing, after his death. And they were buying it, and I was like, I would be cautious. Like, I was cool with buying Cardano, at 40 cents or below, but I wasn't cool with buying Cardano at $1, $1.50, $2, $3, because I felt like we would eventually fall. I think the exuberance was just too high. But could we get back to $1? Well, let's go to the short term here, right? And let's see. So we got some serious resistance at 60 cents over the course of the Cardano's life. We got some serious resistance around 70 cents, around 80 cents, and then again around 90 cents, 88, 90 cents. So it's certainly possible. I would say Cardano could hit $1 before Doge could hit $1. I would say that. And I would think that if Doge would rise, then Cardano would rise too, because usually when Doge or Cardano are rising, all the altcoins are rising. So to get back to $1, Sam, we're looking at a significant 130+% increase. I just don't know. Like, let's look at the volume real quick. Okay, the volume is still technically there. It's nothing like the olden days in 2021 with the high spikes, but if there was an altcoin season that happened, we're looking at a 70-cent Doge and definitely $1 Cardano if there was an altcoin rally. Is my projection, and I could be wrong. Sam Fisher, please do not trade on that information. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying, I do believe that Cardano can hit $1. Now, Charles Hoskin is doing his best to keep Cardano relevant in the scene, but it takes more than just a hot take to keep your crypto coin alive in this world, unfortunately. So we'll see how things go. There's still a lot of concern, though, right? The fear and greed index, like we saw, was at 21 at the beginning of the show. It was even lower at 10 before we saw that. And investors have become careful after the big crash on October 10th with interest dropping and ETF flows reversing. Everyone is asking, is this just a correction or the start of a real bear market? And it could be a short-term bear market. It could be, because the exhaustion is real. The trading volume is lackluster. People just don't have the same appetite that they had. Their traditional stocks are still go. I think, matter of fact, let's look at the S&P. Oh, I got to go to the other chart. Hang on. I mean, it's still putting in higher highs. It's still putting in higher highs. The S&P, let's look at the NASDAQ. Okay, so the S&P, not a higher high, but it's close to its recent high. NASDAQ, same thing. Dow Jones, same thing. But compared to the traditional stocks where you see this chart on a constant upward trajectory, we had a pullback, right? So pullback November 13th to the 21st, and then we reverse. Let's look at Bitcoin. November 13th, right? Here we are. We had the pullback, and then we're reversing. But we're not getting as high as they were, right? Like, they're actually getting close to their recent high while we're like nowhere near it. And just more focusing on the 13th. So the exhaustion is real, and I think the market is just not ready. When something big happens, right? When everybody, like, it's like the toy in the sandbox. Nobody wants to play with it right now. But as soon as somebody comes, an institution, a big bank, a big financial vehicle comes and is like, ooh, Bitcoin, we bought 200 million of it, or 1 billion of blah, 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 over Bitcoin over so much time, because there's only so much Bitcoin that's being mined a day, yada, 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 that's available in the market, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, they come, they see the shiny thing, they're like, ooh, Bitcoin, and now everybody's interested in it. But nobody was playing with it while it was in the sandbox. So we'll see how things go. According to recent market data, the October 10th crash was the main reason sentiment fell to a record low of 10, triggered by the surprise U.S.-China tariff war news, right? Because DJT restated the 100% tariff on China goods, and that caused concern and people panic, blah, blah, blah. Following the announced price, the Bitcoin price fell from 126 to 98, wiping out 19 billion in leveraged trades. Like, that was huge. That's why I said in the past couple episodes, like, yo, DJT, you need to, like, read the room, bro. Stop just spouting shit out your mouth and read the room. Because we were marching, guys. We were marching. We made a new all-time high, 126K. Like, we're good. We could get to 150 by the end of the year. Easily. And just shat on it. Just shat on it. Meanwhile, the major altcoins like SOL, XRP, ETC fell more than 40% in hours. Due to this crash, crypto order books became very thin. Market makers removed liquidity to avoid more losses. ETFs inflows turned to outflows, and global demand for digital assets weakened, right? It's a risk asset. People don't have that appetite right now for these risk assets. So that's why gold's doing good. And yeah, even though people call Bitcoin digital gold, it doesn't hold that same value that it does for them as it does for us. So we'll have to see how things go. I wonder if an ad just popped up. Why you have audio only? What do you mean why you have audio only? Can you not see the video on Twitch? Yo. And no problem, Sam Fisher. I'm recording, like I'm seeing video. YouTube's at least seeing the video. Let me know what you're seeing on Twitch, Yo. Yeah. All right. So desktop audio's off, but my mic is open. Yeah. Bitcoin is plunged. Strategy Inc. is an early victim, right? It holds 3% of the world's total Bitcoin supply, so keep that in mind. But we talked about MicroStrategy being impacted by the recent downturn, and that's because they had a really large bet that was due to expire, and so it expired. So here we go. Strategy CEO says they have 1.44 billion cash reserve built to kill FUD and Bitcoin slump, right? When are they going to use that, though? We'll see how things turn out. But the company did raise 1.44 billion US dollar reserve to calm investor fears about the ability to pay dividends and ride out the Bitcoin downturn, speaking Friday on CNBC Power Lunch, right? This is the concern that they have raised, is to be able to pay all those dividends despite the losses on Bitcoin. MicroStrategy began raising capital a couple weeks ago, putting dollars on its balance sheet to get rid of the FUD around the firm's financial health as Bitcoin slid from recent highs. The company announced the reserve on Monday. It said the cash pile funded through a stock sale is meant to cover at least 12 months of dividend payments, with a plan to extend the buffer to roughly 24 months over time. Lee, I think is, Feng Lee. Lee told CNBC the raise took about 8.5 days and equates to roughly 21 months of dividend obligations. He said the move was meant to both address the concerns about possible shortfall and show strategy can still attract capital in the Bitcoin down cycle, which usually that's what you want to do when Bitcoin's falling. When any stock market or whatever asset is going down, you want to accumulate more, and when it's going up, you want to take profits. So they're just trying to quiet the fears, because those are legitimate fears that MicroStrategy, if Bitcoin continues to fall or not recovering. Now this is 21. It says 21 months of dividend obligations. What happens if the bear market lasts longer than 21 months? Now that would mean that Bitcoin's in a bear market all the way to 2027 and plus, right? Like end of 2027, beginning of 2028. I don't think that would happen. I don't think we're going to be in a bear market that long. I think we're going to have a short-term bear market leading into 2026, and then at some point in time we're going to take off, whether it's around tax return season where people are start getting their money back or whatever. But usually around the holidays we have red. I was just expecting October, November to be green, and then December to turn red, with a little uptick in January, and then another red February, March, leading into April, where we have another uptick after taxes. It did the exact opposite. We had a red October. We had a red September, red October, like the movie, red November, and we might have a red December. Matter of fact, let's go look at the monthly and see what's going on. Yeah, boys. Yeah, boys and ladies. So, okay, no, we had a green September, excuse me. And again, like, look at this. Right? Look, let's zoom in. This is before, so let me zoom out a little bit more. Right? Here we are in September. Things are going well. Some of the concerns and fears about the trade wars and tariffs were fading. We move into October, we start to make a new all-time high. You can see this wick is very hard to see, but it comes all the way to the top of this line right here. 126K. He says 100% tariffs on all Chinese goods, blah, 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 blah. Panic ensues. We drop like a rock. And then we have a red October. If he didn't say that, if he just didn't say that, then we probably could have broke out of this wedge and then been on our way up towards 150K. Instead, now we have red, red, red. And I mean, technically, we could turn December green towards the end of the month, but we'll see. Maybe when people get around the Christmas table, the Christmas table, and start talking about Bitcoin, and grandma and grandpa bust out the old funds, that we start to pick up. I'm not too concerned, though, about MicroStrategy's bullshit. I don't have any exposure to MicroStrategy. I'm curious, does anybody in here or that watches this show have any exposure to MicroStrategy? Like, you're a major investor in MicroStrategy or anything like that? Like, are you getting your dividend payments? Obviously, don't ever expose your personal information or share how much of an asset you have. But I'm just curious if anybody's got that exposure there. Let me check chat 1 second. Softman says if BTC drops below cost, it will drive more of the small miners out. I think we talked about that. Yeah, I'm just repeating myself. Sorry. Thank you for your input. No problem, Sam. What I missed? Crypto Pounder Dog. Not much. Anyone watch or listen to the Joe and Jensen Hang interview? No, I did not. And it seems like Dream Tanks did not either. Or at least Dream Tanks are saying no to having exposure to MicroStrategy. I don't know, one or two. But no, the Joe and Jensen Hang interview. Honestly, I don't care too much for Jensen. I don't really care too much for Jensen. No, I haven't seen it. So 2 days ago, Joe Rogan podcast. I'll check that off air. I'm not gonna react to that shit right now. I don't really do react videos anyways. So yeah. What else we got here? Trader poster, blah, blah, blah. Market Maestro says Strategy Inc.'s weekly chart mirrors its 2021 top pattern and could still slide toward a support area near $100 before the downtrend exhausts. Okay, he's talking about this chart right here. MicroStrategy right now is sitting around 173. He's saying that the stock could fall to $100 before that bear market action is over exhausted or exhausted, and then you'll be on an upward trend. Now, what is his date time frame looking like? He's looking like July 2026. That seems about right. That seems about right. I still think we're gonna have an uptick in April if we did continue on this current trend. Again, we're on the short term for Bitcoin. If we zoom in really far, we are technically making a higher low and a higher high. But we just got a lot of resistance to get through. A lot of resistance to get to. Right? So, boom, 91, almost 92. I would say that's 91.6. And then, boom, 97, maybe the top of 96K, bottom of 97K. 102. Like, I'm just going way out here. And then you're going to have this at 105. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I know I'm tired of the BS, and I don't really have the fun. It's like I got more important things to worry about, as many of you should or do. Forget MicroStrategy. Mara is even worse trouble. So Mara, Marathon, is even worse trouble according to Vanek Siegel's projections. At first blush, treasury company MicroStrategy and mining firm Mara Holdings appear similar. They're both recognizable names in the Bitcoin community with loads of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Strategy has roughly 10 times more Bitcoin, but other than that, both firms employ the same approach, hoarding the cryptocurrency to maximize Bitcoin yield. But according to VanEck's head of digital asset research, Matthew Siegel, Mara is in a much weaker position, and as Bitcoin flounders, the mining giant will be fighting stronger headwinds. Both companies are down 50% over the past 6 weeks. Mara appears extremely cheap with unusually high short-term interest, but dig deeper and the picture changes quickly. What Siegel is referring to is a difference in debt structure between the two companies. Back in August 2020, Strategy had an enormous pile of surplus cash lying around, and Michael Saylor thought it would be a good idea to buy Bitcoin and earn a higher return than what was being offered by traditional assets at the time. Strategy eventually pivoted from developing business intelligence software to accumulating Bitcoin, and now it's the largest corporate hoarder of cryptocurrency. One approach for the company employed was issuing convertible debt to purchase Bitcoin. The tactic was so successful that a slew of other companies followed suit. The mining firm, Mara, has now issued approximately $3.3 billion in convertible bonds, according to the latest financials. This didn't raise any alarm bells when Bitcoin was rallying, but at 88K, things are starting to be a little shaky. Share prices have fallen 50%, but that doesn't make Mara cheap buy because its enterprise value has ballooned. Thanks to billions owed in debt, those outstanding bonds have jacked up Mara's MNAV, a metric that tracks enterprise value relative to the value of the company's Bitcoin holdings. In other words, investors are paying way more for Mara stock than can be justified by its Bitcoin stash. Mara only screens inexpensive if you ignore its $3.3 billion face value of convertible debt. Is trading at a premium price, premium once debt is included. So while MicroStrategy had worked to get a buffer, right, to be able to pay their dividends over a 21-month time frame, I don't know what Mara is doing to try to protect itself in case Bitcoin does fall further. What happens if Bitcoin falls to 80K, 78, and it stays there for a sustained period of time, right? And of course, considering the debt that they have, could this be a company that could collapse? Now, you and I might, the home miner, the at-home individual, the smallest scale miner, we don't care, right? It doesn't affect us unless you're a major investor in this company. But just something to be concerned about, because when companies like this bump into things or fail or fall or stumble, maybe they won't fail, but they'll stumble, that can affect the broader market. So we'll have to see how things go. Obviously, right now, Mara is up 30% from its lows and running into resistance. So I sold some today and added to MicroStrategy, says Siegel. Now, maybe this guy's spreading some FUD, right, and trying to pump MicroStrategy and get people out of Mara. I don't know. But the fact that this article is warning about Mara's impending doom, and then this person sells Mara to get into MicroStrategy kind of screams bullshit. But whatever. I'll let you guys make that decision. What do you guys think about Kevin O'Leary? I'm not gonna say anything. I know a lot of people recognize him from the Shark Tank and stuff like that, but what do you guys think about Kevin O'Leary? They delivered a brutal crypto reality check saying that most altcoins are worthless and destined to vanish. He claims that only Bitcoin and Ethereum will survive long term, calling them real assets in the market. I 100% agree with that. Most altcoins are trash. 100%. Matter of fact, if we go to CoinMarketCap, you can see in the upper section, actually, they don't have it anymore, do they? It used to tell us how many cryptos were available. Like, how many coins were there. I think that at one point in time, there was like 3 billion or some shit like that. But, yeah, most of them are trash. Okay, here we go. Cryptos, 27.98 million. That's crazy. That's how many is being tracked. There's more than that. There's probably 28, 30, 32 million cryptocurrencies out there. Most of that's trash. Most of that's irrelevant. Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, they're the top two. And matter of fact, I'm getting rumblings that investors are buying more Ethereum. While Ethereum's down, they're buying more Ethereum. They see some promise in Ethereum long term. Now, I know many of my miners, GPU miners, including myself, have sold our Ethereum or liquidated our Ethereum to buy other miners, to upgrade things, to pay bills, whatever it might be. So they kind of left us and we left them. But there's new investors, new hope, and new individuals that are new to Ethereum that are getting into it. So we'll see how things go. Besides that, other altcoins of interest, people are really getting into stable coins. I don't really care too much for stable coins, and I don't like banks having, we don't need 10,000 stable coins. We really don't. A handful would work to help with the off-ramps and on-ramps. They just got to work with the various governments and states and countries in order to facilitate that and make sure they're within the rule books. But besides that, BNB was popping. It lost traction. It was over 1,000. Now it's below it. I did take some profits on some BNB to help take care of things. Actually, to pay the stupid electric bill that was kicking my ass because of the stupid plan that JEA does. Which, JEA, you're a fucking crook. I'm going to keep saying that. You're a fucking crook. You're corrupt. And you're the only power company in this area. You fucking suck. But besides that, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, Chainlink, I still have hope for, but that thing is just not being as fruitful I was hoping. Monero will always have value as a privacy asset, and the number one. I know a lot of projects, especially in the privacy sector, want to kind of put down Monero, but Monero's still holding strong. Litecoin, right? We know that the ETF for Litecoin failed to accomplish. I still think it's going to go through eventually, just not now. They got probably like a Doge ETF coming. I don't know about Hedera, but a lot of people speak highly of Hedera. I mean, it had a significant slump, so it looks like people rode the hype, took their profits, and just bounced the fuck out. Zcash started to stumble, right? It was doing good for a long time, and now it's starting to pull back. I know a lot of people that liquidated into Zcash or liquidated other assets into Zcash. I mean, technically, it still outperformed probably those assets, but just not every one of these are worth it. Polkadot has let me down for a long time. Don't care for PayPal. Tonguecoin used to be hot, but now it's not. So, like, you can just go around, and there's just so many different coins out here. Caspa, what's going on with Caspa? 5 cents. Are we ever going to get back to 15 cents, 20 cents? Like, condensing your portfolio and getting rid of some of these trash altcoin meme coins would be a better way to allocate your or to adjust for your portfolio. Hanging on to all these shit coins, I mean, unless you absolutely know that it's going to pop off and it's going to, do really good, and you got it on pennies on the dollar and that shit goes up to a fucking million, then congrats. But calling the right meme coin that's going to pop off like that is really, really, really hard. But if you do it, congratulations. I know I condensed. And by the way, we'll probably do a video in the future. Keep an eye out for it, where we look at our portfolio. Because I've asked you in the past, what cryptos would you buy for $1,000 right now? You guys gave me some things. I did some percentages, and I put that into the coin market cap. And we're going to take a look at how that portfolio is doing and kind of go from there. Don't forget, in about 22 minutes, I want to say, no, 17 minutes, we're going to be sending you over to Red Panda Mining, who's going to be going live here in a minute. I've been watching some Jaguar stuff, as you can tell. Got the old, so NFL throwback threw on the old Jags versus Colts, Peyton's Colts. And the wife loves Peyton Manning. She's from Indy. But anyways, yeah, Red Panda Mining is coming up soon. Actually, this is not the one that's coming up soon. There's another video that he's got coming up at 12 today. I'll send you guys over there here in just a minute. But there's going to be a good section here, maybe about a 10-minute section of just me chatting with you guys, whether you're on X or YouTube or wherever you are. So make sure you at me or send a super chat. But let's wrap up real quick. Bitcoin could continue chopping below 95K in the year end, and altcoins could benefit, analysts said. Now, this is saying that we could have a nice altcoin rally, right? I'm not sure about that. Bitcoin reversed its overnight climb to 94K, dipping back below 92 during the U.S. hours Thursday, continuing choppy, range-bound action after the wild moves first lower, then higher earlier in the week. Ethereum held up relatively well, down only about 0.7% on the day, and changing hands above 3,100 in the afternoon hours. Among the altcoins, HBAR or Hedera, Zcash, and the coins and the CoinDesk index only lowered about 2%. Despite a pullback, BTC continues to hold well above its support level, established around 8,500 or 85,000, earlier this week, suggesting markets may be selling in a holding pattern as liquidity thins heading into the year end. Paul Howard, senior director of trading firm Winsent, said in a note, "We continue to see cryptocurrency prices closely correlate with the global macroeconomic events. While December is typically a low liquidity month, we observe a higher floor has been set in the past 7 days around 85,000. Without major new macro headlines, Howard is expect more range-bound trading between 85 and 95K the rest of the month. There's potential for some outperformance in altcoins, which typically do well in low liquidity, higher volatility environment. On the macro front, markets are entering December with eyes on the U.S. Federal Reserve and more crucially, the Bank of Japan. According to Mark Connors, founder and chief of microstrategist of Bitcoin Investment Advisory, Risk Dimensions, geez Louise, that's a title. The Bank of Japan rate decision is the key event this month. It determines the future of the yen-funded carry trade and strategy where investors borrow in yen to buy higher yield assets. So those are the two most important things that are happening. We got the U.S. FOMC, I think in about 4 days, and then we got the Bank of Japan. And depending on how those outlooks come, that could easily make a nice little dip here. So we have, Bitcoin dip down to 80, 82, 84, somewhere in there, and then start rebounding towards the end of, around Christmas, going into January, or good news from the Fed, good news from the Bank of Japan, and we start to push up to hit resistance, chop sideways, hit the next resistance, going into the next year. Still around 100K or lower, but then in 2026 we start to edge up a little bit higher. Those are just predictions. Those aren't accurate anything, so do not trade on that information. I'm just like, go look at your favorite other guys and financial experts, because I'm not a financial expert. Just a dude on YouTube that looks at the charts and understands the markets to a degree. I'm not an expert. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about is these coins. I never got one, but I know some of you have, and I'm not going to name you because I thought it was really cool, and I don't want to harm your privacy. You should have already moved the Bitcoin you got from these coins into a hardware wallet or something else. But yeah, 2,000 Bitcoin on the move as rare Cassius coins. I think is it Cassius coins? Awaken after 13 years. It's from Mike. So Mike used to, I'm going to mute this real quick. Mike used to get these bags of coins, and then you can see that he's putting these stickers on it, right? And these stickers, these holographic stickers, have like a private key on it, you see? And you can, insert that private key, import that private key into various wallets, and there you got asset, you got Bitcoin, right? Now he was shut down because it was something about licensing, money service, something. So he had to shut it down. But it was so cool. I wasn't able to get my hands on one. And yeah, Daniel goes and checks them out. I talked to Daniel at one of the conventions, a couple of the conventions actually, really cool guy. But yeah, these coins, would have your private key, as you can see, right? And then you can put it in and have that assets. And some of those 1,000 Bitcoin coins, right? So these coins could range from 5 Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, 20 Bitcoin, whatever, right? And there's a couple with 1,000 on them that's on the move. So is that cause for concern? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. By the way, those stickers, I'm pretty sure if you're trying to like decipher them and claim the Bitcoin that's on them, that's already been done. That's been done a long time ago. You guys are way late to the party. This is the old doc. Daniel and Mike were in Bitcoin really, really early, so you're very late to the party. But yeah, too long dormant. I think it's Cassius coins. I'm not sure if that's pronounced. Somebody correct me. I suck at pronunciation anyways. Each backed by 1,000 Bitcoin have been recently activated as of Friday, unlocking more than 179 million stashed away for more than 13 years. On-chain data indicates that when the Cassius coins were mined in October 2012, and when Bitcoin was trading around $11.69, the other was minted earlier, not mined, but minted earlier in December 2011, when Bitcoin was valued at only $3.88, giving the Cassius coin a theoretical return of 2.3 million%. Crazy, right? So if you're one of those people, congrats. Again, the coins had denominations of 1, 5, 10, 25, 100, 500, and 1,000 Bitcoin. Huge. Even if it only had 1 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoin, that's huge for somebody if you have that coin. So check your grandfather's drawers, your uncle's drawers, your auntie's office. Did they ever participate in Bitcoin? Did they ever have a Bitcoin coin, like a physical coin? Maybe it might have the holographic sticker on it. I doubt it, because those who knew what they were, knew what they were getting, and so they wouldn't like just forget it. But maybe some people have. Maybe there's somebody out there that has forgotten about their coin and they don't realize it. So look around for it. Check your change drawer if you were one of the ones that had it. I wouldn't say like go and immediately sell it, but still, congratulations. That's really cool. And this is just another example of like some of those OG Satoshi era, or this is slightly after the Satoshi era, but early Bitcoin participants you know, either taking profits or getting ready to take profits or whatever. And then, of course, that's going to cause some more market turmoil, but we have to wait and see. But Daniel, if you ever watch this video, good luck, brother. I hope to see you again at the next event. Mike, I don't know what you're doing these days, but take care of yourself. All right. And let's see here. Red Panda Mining. Let's go to his channel real quick. What is today's episode? Here we go. There's today's episode. Let's see if we can watch something together. And do you have any questions, comments, concerns as we get ready for Red Panda Mine to go live in about 8 minutes? Still the same shit, different day, right? Dollar cost average, accumulate what you can. Don't bet the farm. Take care of your bills. Take care of your family. And you doing anything fun for the holidays? Let me know. Obviously, again, don't dox yourself. Don't give any personal information. Spending time with the family here, but then gonna go see some family up in Indy. Just gonna, you know, it's all about family this year. That hence the reason why the videos haven't been popping out like hot sauce. But we'll hopefully get back into that and look at the portfolios that we created together here in the near future, probably in January. But also, I do want to warn you that I might not do a live stream on December 27th. I may or may not. And then next Saturday, the 13th. Got a family event coming up on the 13th and got a family situation going down on the 27th. So I apologize if I don't stream. I'm going to do my best because I know this is the only way that you guys get to see my lovely face, even though you hate it. Give you some crypto content or news and then kind of go from there. Nothing about mining in today's episode. I mean, a little bit of, you know, some of them, like the mining company Mara that could be in trouble. We'll see if they get out of it. But nothing like super fascinating. And I know that we got a number of miners coming in January, Q1 of January. But you just have to wait and see. Or check out my boy Hobbyist Miner. Right? Got some great things. We're dropping some great news and insight out there. And that's pretty much it. Rudd says 100%. Same shit, different day. Yep, it is. And thank you again for your Friday welcomes. Doge 3.7. Dodge 3.7? What, are we playing? We're playing a stat-based game? What's going on? A bunch of coins that have no revenue. Mining is so competitive right now, even the big boys are affected. Yep. The 401k exposure is all grayscale BTC. Okay. Let's see here. Did he leave? Looks like. Thoughts on Micron no longer selling RAM? That kind of sucks, right? Because Micron's been in the forefront of providing memory modules or RAM, whether it's for NVMe, normal memory sticks, whatever it might be, stuff like that. You know who I miss from Indy? And I haven't heard in a while? Not Your Normal Miner. Anybody know what happened to Not Your Normal Miner? I remember I went to go see his farm in the early days. I really miss him. I don't know what happened to him. But does anybody have a contact with Not Your Normal Miner? It'd be good to go see him while I'm up there. But I don't think I will have the time because I got to work from up there. Today a friend turned 40. Have a surprise party. Nice. Nice. Cannabis is paying better than mining. Can you sell your cannabis up there? Where are you at? Are you in Canada? Visiting Indiana in December. I'm trying to get out of Indiana and visit Florida. Oh, well, hop in a suitcase. I'll bring you back, Adam.
My brother?
No, not. Actually, no. Okay. This is Adam Williams. Yeah. All right, Micron. Micron stops selling memory to consumers as demand spikes to AI chips. I mean, have you seen those prices for memory? It's completely crazy. It is asinine, dude. Let's go to newegg.com real quick and let's look up some memory sticks and see what they are. Oh my god. Thank you. All right, let's look for 6400 DDR6. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. 64 gig kit, 232 gig sticks, which is, I think, what I have. I think I have 232. Yeah, I got 232 gig sticks. and I think it's rated at 6600. This is 64, $800, 389 bucks for 216 gig, 429, 819. So there's obviously a shortage, and the tariffs are hitting hard. And you know what scares me? I don't think they're gonna, even if the pressure from the tariffs and supply and surplus and whatever go down, I think these manufacturers might keep the price, or the vendors might keep the prices this high or close to this high. Rudd says hi, Miss Serpent. So, yeah, Micron exiting the game. It's like what EVGA did, right? EVGA was like, nah, Nvidia, I'm not going to deal with your bullshit anymore. I'm done. I'm not. So Micron exiting is a huge impact because, I mean, like, dude, they also make some really good SSDs, especially for enterprise. I have a Micron SSD. I love them. Holy crap, I need to sell my SSD. I need to sell my enterprise SSD. Holy shit. Oh, I really need to think about that. Oh. No, that's SATA. Where's the U.2 one? I need to figure out which one I got. I have a U.2 one. You might have 800 bucks on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. But I need to make sure I have, because they had, what is it, 1.66 terabytes. Really good for Chia back in the day, but now I don't really care so much for Chia. I'm still doing it, I just don't care so much. This is not a bad price. For 1 terabyte though, maybe not. Let's go 1 terabyte SSD. All right, Red Panda Miner's going live here in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna send you guys that way in just a second. We're just bullshitting, shooting the shit. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're leaving, please do me a favor on the way out. Hit that like button, but we're not hanging up just yet. I'm just saying if you do. Okay, so NVMe drives are not too bad. Let's see here. Gen 5 NVMe. If you need storage, I would get it though. 4 terabyte, 8 terabyte, 8 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 169. Yikes. 9100 Pro, 2 terabyte. Yikes. I'm pretty sure we could get a 1 terabyte for like 80 something bucks, but maybe not anymore. This is crazy, guys. Yeah, I mean, building computers is fucking stupid right now because the prices of everything is so ridiculous. So I don't expect things to get back to normal till after 2028, to be honest, guys. But we'll see. We shall see. All right, let me end the poll real quick. The question that was asked was, is Bitcoin entering a bear market? 67% says yes. 67% says yes. 33% says no. I'm going to share that with Red. Chia plotting is faster with RAM now. Yeah, I just don't have enough RAM. SN 8100 best Gen 5 I found. You know, I like that. I like that drive. Honestly, I like my SN like old school. I think it was 870. But I'm perfectly fine. Like I play WoW. I play Battlefield 6. I load faster than most people, and I enjoy the game. I don't need like the absolute fastest thing. Like I got a notification for a 5090, $3,000. I'm not gonna do that, dude. I'm happy with my 9070 XT. I'm happy with my 64 gigabyte, two sticks of memory. 32 gig each, you know, 6600 speeds, my 9800 X3D. Like, it's perfectly fine. Like, you don't need to have the latest and greatest, not hottest stuff and the best tech and all that stuff. Whatever. Anyways, this video from Red says GPU giveaway members only. Interesting. So make sure you guys are a member of Red Pandas, and maybe you might get a GPU. I would give away some GPUs, but the shipping would eat me out, like, eat me alive, guys. People still talking about Chia. Isn't that completely dead? No, Doom Boots is not completely dead, but it's not as popular as it was in the very beginning. It's actually where I got a lot of my views because I was one of the first few people to get involved and make content on it. But you can see over the past year, yeah, I mean this negative down. I did take some profits on Chia way back to help out, honestly, with fixing up the car. But yeah, it's not as popular as it used to be. I think the gentleman, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. There's some good people, Cohen. There's some good people on the team that I do like, and I think they could do some great stuff. But yeah, yields are up. Yep. Northern Crypto and Tech says I'm still farming. Yields are up. All right, you guys. Where's he at? Is he live or not? I'm ready to send you guys over there. I gotta go. Come on, Ren. I gotta go. But yeah, do me a favor. I'm gonna send you guys over to Red Panda Mining, but do me a favor, hit that like button, make sure to get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. Take care of yourselves. Have a happy holiday. If I don't live stream next Saturday, my apologies. Hang tight for me. I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. If I do need to stream, I'll probably stream remotely with my phone. But just bear with me. Family stuff. Go spend time with your family. Go outside. Go chase the rainbow. Go freaking play in the snow. Just go spend time with your family. Have a good time. Dollar cost average. Hang tight. Everything will be fine. Keep hashing away. Keep mining. The projects that you believe in, even though electricity prices suck, just keep hashing away. And I will see you guys later on, if not next week, okay? Take care.